I discovered Randy during the pandemic, like most of you guys, and I felt like he was a soldier. Like he was literally like, you know, like they say, doing God's work, but it was making us all feel safe. And God bless you.
That was intense.
That means it's true. What he does is so, like, when people use this word on me, brave, makes me like.
But I am. Though,
That's
so
right.
You can.
That's right. He puts himself in a position where he was like soothing the entire nation and probably beyond just America, but it wasn't just soothing, it was also like so raw-doggingly funny that it was brilliant. You did a new thing. Everything that you do is a new thing. And I find it so inspiring because people kind of expect, you know, what's next for you? Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do next? Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to do what you do.
What do I do?
I know. I mean, so what I'm fascinated by is like how you go from being Mel Gibson's secret boyfriend. Yeah.
We've since broken up. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I was in the notes not to say that.
He called me sugar tits once.
Oh.
But how do you, like, you did that, you put that together, and that was like, it was really funny and brilliant, but the scale that you've reached with your production value, how do you do that? Like, how are you able to, like, do you just go in a closet and you do it all by yourself?
Not for many years, no. You set that one up for me. How do I do, I'll tell you what, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm not being modest as far as production value, and from you that's high praise, because I'm just winging it. I don't know, I dropped out of every lesson I ever took, starting with Hebrew lessons. So I don't know, you know, technically I don't know what I just sort of taught myself Final Cut Pro.
Wow.
And now, I mean, the videos in the old days, I was just ripping karaoke tracks and sort of doing it that way. What I have upped my game in is the music department. So now I have a music producer, and all of the newer parodies, we create the tracks, you know, just for me, and I have a vocal arranger doing all the harmonies, and then we ship them off, and they have like actual Broadway musicians recording all of the tracks for me now. So that part's a little schmancy.
Yeah.
Everything else is me in a room in my apartment with a green screen. I can't get out of my apartment. No one will invite me. Except you, Pamela Adlon. You're the first and only.
So, okay, that answered all of these questions. That was...
Good night.
This is a very multitasky couple of kids. So what I'm interested in now is everybody's hurting because of what's happening to the entertainment industry. And I feel a similar kinship with you, that you and I are outliers.
Yeah.
Because we're able to do something that's very personal, that's like the thing that we want to do. We're lucky to do that, but also it's incredibly difficult. I also know that you really hate the use of this word content as much as I do.
You read it. I do. It's so clinical sounding. Everything is content.
It's so reductive.
Well, and just to take us in a different direction, but not really. When I first started doing this, back when I was dating Mel Gibson, which was like 2010, you know, I realized now on that first wave of YouTube content creators. That was not to me, it was not really a viable option. It wasn't it certainly wasn't what it is now in terms of opportunity or financially or anything. For me, it was just a way to showcase myself and be plucked. I thought someone would pluck me and put me in something. And then I kept doing it, and people kept encouraging me to keep doing it. And now we're in this new place where content creation is a thing. And now, like that, now it's become, it's no longer a showcase, it's content.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where, everybody has to pivot consistently. And in the industry, people are hurting.
Yeah.
Hurting. In Los Angeles, there's no incentives to shoot things here anymore. And I'm really thinking about what I want to do next. And do I want to be making content? So since, my show and I directed the movie, what am I going to do? And I want it to matter. And I still believe that people's personal stories and point of view will eventually win. I think we have 4 more years to do that, and then AI is going to completely take over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but these are the things that are on my mind. But the way, so I did pluck you.
You plucked me. You plucked the shit out of me. and Pamela called me and asked me to do a part on Better Things, the great Better Things.
Thank you. We were already in drafts. We were writing the scripts for that season 4, I think.
I think it was, yes.
And I had a playlist on, and I was standing at the desk, and Martha came on, the Tom Waits song, Martha.
Now, rounds of applause or show of hands? Show of hands. Who knows and loves the song Martha? See?
2 people.
Isn't that so? There are, and I did not know it when she asked me to sing it on her show, and I learned after singing it that there are 2 kinds of people. There are people who have it, like the lyrics tattooed on their arms.
Yeah.
And people who are like you, like normal people who've never fucking heard of it.
Well, I was so excited to put this in the show, and then when I realized that it should be Randy, and he was incredibly busy. I barely had time to speak to him on the phone. I was in production, and I just said, anytime you get him, pull me. And I finally got to speak to him, and I was nervous because I was such a huge fan. And I was like, anyway, my name's Pamela.
Who?
And I have a show. And he's like, you don't have to tell me. All my friends said that I should do your show, and my mom as well. And I'm like, but do you like it? Anyway.
I didn't say that. You made that up.
Thirsty. We're thirsty.
I loved it too. I was a fan before you called.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you own everything that you do? And also, we should mention that you wrote a song with.
I wrote 2 songs with Mark Shaman, who wrote Hairspray and Mary Poppins Return, everything, and Alan Menken. Is that good?
It's incredible.
Those are the only 2 actual original songwriting experiences I have, and yeah, they're both on my album.
It's just an incredible achievement, and just the vastness and scope of your creative mind and what you're able to do. It's so seamless, but it's so much work.
That's so nice. Well, to go back to what you originally said, which you so kindly said, and people are so generous with, their gratitude to me, because I think I did, if you know me and you like me, I did help get you through, it's either Trump or the pandemic. If there's a horrible natural disaster, it's great for my career, so let's hope that. But really, the truth is, selfishly, I've been doing it kind of as a cathartic experience for myself. It's been an amazing creative escape for me. because whenever some shit goes down on the news,
Yeah.
I have this place to go where I can dress up and play. So it really has been an escape for me. Otherwise, I would just be drunk in a corner somewhere.
But you know what they say, write drunk, edit sober.
Exactly.
Bukowski said that. But so this is your second book,
Yeah.
Low Hanging Fruit.
Thank you.
And what inspired you to do this? What keeps you moving forward? You wrote 2 books, you've got a podcast, you're doing your show, which keeps morphing and changing.
Yeah.
And you've got a children's book that you're writing.
I do. Well, it's written. It's coming out next May. It's called Randy Rainbow and the Marvelously Magical Pink Glasses. Yes, you're going to love it. It's so cute. And I talk a lot about my nanny, my grandmother, who was really my greatest inspiration. And so this introduces little Randy and Nanny, and how she sort of gifted me the pink glasses, which is a metaphor for, seeing the world through these magic glasses and seeing it through a filter of humor and magic and music and all of that stuff.
So what I want to say, and I think that it's okay to talk about this, that we were developing a show for Randy.
Yes.
An animated show based on his life as a kid. It is fucking impossible to get shows made anymore.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, we were developing that with Josh Gad for like 2 years.
Yeah.
3 years?
I don't know. Well, we started during the pandemic.
Yeah, we started during the pando.
Yeah.
And to me, it's so inspiring because you didn't give up. And now you have a children's book coming out, which is going to be so effective because people can buy that and give it to their kids.
Yeah, I think it's one of the, I'm very proud of it, and I think I hope it will have an impact. I travel with my touring show, and I'm surprised, it wasn't until I got in front of audiences that I saw how eclectic my fan base was. But I have kids 8 years old, lots of senior citizens, but there are lots of kids, and I think they don't necessarily know what I'm talking about politically or are interested in that, although some of them are these days.
Yeah.
But I think they respond to that I'm making funny faces, and they like sort of just the sparkle of it and everything. So I try to make that one of my messages of, expressing and being yourself. And this will be the most direct channel to sort of deliver that message.
Well, there's 2 things that I want to ask you about. One is, like, how do you hone when you use, like, language, whatever people think language is? I don't even fucking know anymore.
You just did it.
But, is that what it is?
That was language.
Oh, okay. How do you, like, I used to walk around with my kids when they were younger, when I was like on Californication, and people would be like, "Hey, fucking Marcy, what's up?" And I'd be with my kids, and I would be like, they just feel like they can do that with you.
Yeah.
How do you hone that? Like, if you have some of the dirty in your show.
There are no fucks in the children's book. They told me I couldn't.
No, I mean when you're on stage.
Oh, when I'm on stage, I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
Need it. I don't. It's not. I don't really do it for a specific age group.
The next thing that makes me think is that you are pretty much the Schoolhouse Rock of our time.
I've heard that. That's a great compliment. And also, God help us, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you said it about kids knowing a little bit about politics. I think kids know more about politics today.
Oh, absolutely.
Than when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is just, it's incredibly helpful because nobody really understood. Like, it's like, what are these roles? What is a cabinet, And,
right.
I mean, we need you to do like the new bill on Capitol Hill and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, I try to educate myself because I don't really have a mind for politics. That's never been an interest of mine. now, like everybody, of course, I have more knowledge and everything.
Isn't that incredible? Because it's you. We look to you.
Well, that's your fucking problem. But I do, I do take my platform seriously. So I try, first and foremost, I want to be amusing. That's my number one goal.
You are.
But I know that people are watching, so I try to inject some opinion first and foremost, and then a bit of a civics lesson if I can.
Yeah.
And, some wisdom to impart if I have any.
It's working.
Oh, good.
And also, you're incredibly talented and have such a gorgeous singing voice.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you.
When you hear him sing, oh, it's Jason Alexander.
Oh,
Holy shit.
listen, no big deal.
What the fuck? That's awesome. He likes your singing voice too.
Well,
we love you.
I like
It's kind of a bonus that you're really talented at everything you do.
Thank you. You're the best. See, every time Pam, we're mishpacha at this point. Every time she talks, it's like my bar mitzvah. I love it, but it makes me nervous and shy.
So, you said in your book,
Yes.
our attention spans are in the toilet,
Yes.
which I truly believe. And I remember when I had shot Better Things, my pilot, and I had a phone call with John Landgraf, who's the head of FX, who's like one of the most unexecutive executives ever. He's just a mensch and like a kind of a deep thinking philosopher.
Yeah.
And he called me and he said, okay, essentially this is your dime. I want you to tell me how you see this being a series and playing out. And he said, and this was like 10 years ago, he said, the average human being has the attention span of a goldfish.
Yeah. I make a comment about that in the book. It's true.
And now it's even smaller.
Yeah.
And things are going smaller and
It's awful, and I've just, that's what the chapter is. I eulogize my attention span because I've given up. It's gone, and so I've just put it to rest. I try because it really, I take things that are really concerning to me and I try to, turn them into comedy a little bit. But that's something that really is a problem.
yeah, this is
You don't
something
need
that
me to tell you that. We have no attention span.
yeah, it freaks me out
Yeah.
because I know this. I have 3 daughters, and my youngest, she works at a store, and they don't allow them to like have a book on them or anything. They're allowed to be on their phones, and she said she deleted social media because she wasn't doing anything. Like it was just like you're waiting for somebody to like walk in and you make a sale. I mean, it's so challenging to think about, when you go to your TV, I don't even know who has a TV. I have TV. I love TV.
We have TVs still, right? That's still a
But,
thing.
I mean, people
But
don't.
I will watch an episode. My problem is I'll watch an episode of a series on my TV while streaming simultaneously another episode of the same series.
This is the problem.
And it's just like,
I know.
double penetration
But
all the time in my house.
just stay safe.
And I have a children's book coming out. Okay.
Yeah. The children's book will be out in 2025. But
They wanted me to promote it. Go.
it's like you have to seek out where you want to get your news, the information that you want to get. Be purposeful.
Yeah.
Make a list when somebody recommends a movie or a book to you, low-hanging fruit.
Thank you.
And think about that when you get in front of whatever platform you will get your information, your entertainment from. Otherwise, they will steal your attention,
Yeah.
your mind. You don't even fucking remember what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
where do you think we're going?
To hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
I have to now, like, I have 15 minutes into a movie, I have to, like, Wikipedia the plot. And then by the time I do that, then I have to like go to Rotten Tomatoes to decide what my opinion is of it, because I've already missed half the thing.
Yeah.
It's bad. How do you though with children? I do not envy you. Like, do we have time limits on our phones? How are you combating this?
Well, my kids are all grown. They're all grown.
Oh, that's right. Well, what age groups are they?
But when they're all in their 20s.
Oh.
But the thing that happened is when my oldest was in middle school, I realized what was going on. And like, I remember the video Shoes, Liam's video.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought, oh, that's great. I love that. But then I realized that they were taking in all of this stuff. And so I would meet parents who are like, oh, my child doesn't have a cell phone. I'm like, really? Your child doesn't have a cell phone? Do they have friends? Do their friends have siblings? Do they go to school?
Right.
Like the shit that kids, that's penetrating their brains and their souls. I said to my kids when they were little, when I realized my daughter was going to school with middle school boys and that they were being able to access porn.
Yeah.
I just, and you could see the picture of an autopsy video without having to put your age in, but you can't look at nipples. And I'd be like,
it's
what
very
the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So I said to them, I can't control what you see anymore. This is too big. And I saw it then.
Right.
So you have to determine what you want to see because it can stay with you forever. And what I'm trying to do with the work that I do and what you're doing is something that can be sustainable. Mm-hmm. Like, I want things to be evergreen.
Right.
I don't want it to be time-stamped and like a consumable, like from a vending machine. Mm-hmm. And when the vending machine runs out of snacks and you take it in and you shit it out and you don't remember what you ate.
Right.
You know, you don't like my vending machine analogy. It's my
They're writing it down.
Netflix vending machine analogy. But it's important what you do.
Well, thanks.
And
it's and very evergreen too. I just wrapped my for a year. I was doing a tour with the Randy Rainbow for President tour, and it was, you know, I sort of do like great.
I saw it.
I do
it's
great.
Incredible.
Thank you. I've suspended my campaign. I'm endorsing Kamala. But I was pretending to run for president. Well, talking about evergreen, like I'm doing like the Trump stuff that I wrote in 2017 is still totally holds up today, which is great for me, but horrible for us collectively. I always marvel at however topical this shit is. So I don't know if you've seen the new video, but there's a lot of, you know, talk about Taylor Swift, Donald Trump, the connection. She didn't see it. Oh, good. So I moderated the debate recently, and I think we have. Can we go to the tape? Welcome to tonight's presidential debate. I'm Randy Elizabeth Rainbow. We have asked both candidates to prepare 16 bars of an up-tempo and a ballad, as well as a comedic monologue. But first, election-y stuff. No question has been shared with either campaign, and per his celebrity rider, a panic button has been installed in Mr. Trump's podium in case he gets scared.
Thank you.
And now the completely fair and unbiased questions. Vice President Kamala Harris. I love your blouse. Where'd you get it?
Let's talk about this.
What she says is an absolute lie.
Mr. Former Fake President Girl, sir, you have been critical of your opponent's immigration record. Would you care to elaborate by making up some crazy-ass bullshit?
Crime is down all over the world except here. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it.
Oh, no, please don't.
In Springfield...
Oh, God, he's gonna.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating...
Can someone call me an Uber?
They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
You're still talking, don't know why. You say so many stupid ass things. Ain't it nutty how you lie? Thought we fired you, but oh my God, you're still here. Must we do this year after year? You give me diarrhea. Petty, not nonsense, faceless claims. Immigrants eating puppies and geese, pushing garbage, playing games. Got more tall tales than bankruptcies. Hey girl, you okay? Do you believe a word you say? Can't we stop this charade? Cause we've been trying to ditch you for damn near a decade. Is this friggin' guy for real, y'all? Psychologically, he's declined. Sure, his rally crowds are real small, but so is his tiny mind. Had enough of both these whack jobs, baiting the far-right fringe, spouting off on cats and black jobs. Could they be more cringe? And it's gonna be November, and he's gonna demand recounts. He'll start accusing his contender, whose name he can't pronounce.
Kamala.
Got a long list of convictions he simply can't explain, cause he's got a blank space, baby.
Thank you.
And it's in his brain.
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Chaos, hatred, double speak. I can read you like a MAGA queen. New indictments every week. Dancing around like a jerk, bitch. Please calm down just a bit. You're unhinged, you're unfit, and you can't golf for shit. Oh no. Screaming, sweating, farting, ew. He can sure make a stomach turn. Will he stage another kill? Sorry, Donald, please pardon me if I start to yawn. I'm so tired of this old con. We can't wait till you're gone. Cause honey, you're a schmuck and you sound like a moron. Soon it's gonna be November, and we're gonna get the final say. Better get your act together, or he's gonna take your rights away. Got our foreign rivals rooting, he'd be their Christmas gift. Cause he loves Kim Jong and Putin, but hates Taylor Swift. Doesn't care about the law though, his criminality's off the scale. Send him back to Mar-a-Lago until it's time for jail. I can't wait to cast my ballot, so tired of playing his game. When I see a blank space, baby, I won't check his name. Boy only tells lies about the border. He's got a personality disorder.
Another lie.
Boy only tells lies about the border.
They're eating the pets.
He's got a personality disorder. Is this fucking guy for real, y'all? I'm so bored of his washed up shtick. Sure, his rally cries are real small, but so's his tiny hands. Got himself a fierce opponent, he can't pronounce her name.
Kamala.
I'd rather lie than own it when he gets public. It's gonna be November. Are we gonna vote lies or truth? Don't forget to remember, when you're all up in that booth, he's a narcissistic weirdo, unqualified profane.
Excuse me.
Low IQ, hot-headed nut job, an orange fecal stain. Just a crazed convicted felon, unstable, inhumane. Belly aching, awkward screwball, idiotic and inane. Giant autocratic toddler, and clinically insane. Cause he's got a blank space, baby.
Thank you.
And it's in his brain.
Can I say, if you take, thank you. If you take nothing else from that video, it should be that I am a hot blonde.
Oh, shit.
I didn't know that I could get away with blonde.
You look gorgeous with that wig. I'm saying you should maybe think about
I'm just saying.
incorporating. We talked about this.
Yeah.
It's parody.
Yes.
So you can use these songs.
Yeah. I mean, when I do like an album or something, you have to, go through all of the and get all of the proper clearances. I've been declined a few times. I'm not Sheldon Harnick.
Sheldon Harnick.
Is he here? No. He's sadly no longer with us, but yeah.
Wow. So you own all your stuff because you generate. All of the things that you do, you own.
Well, I mean, it's complicated because with parody, obviously don't own the original songs.
Right.
Yeah.
But you own your songs.
Yes.
And you also you were endorsed by Stephen Sondheim. for your first book.
Hey, I got to know Steve. I became a friend of his husband many years before I did any of this. So I got to know him a little bit in my 20s. And then once I started, things started cooking for me. He was incredibly supportive, and I played the Beacon Theater for the first time, and he was in the front row sitting next to my mother. And he was extremely generous. This is not news. He was famously generous with, up-and-coming people and very supportive. And his praise was, he would always, every time I saw him, he would say, Randy, genuinely say, your lyrics every time are right on the money. How do you do it? Said Stephen Sondheim.
High praise.
And then I would always say, Steve, you wouldn't get it. And he would laugh at that. But we had some good times. We got drunk a couple times together.
Oh my
smoked a little bit.
God.
I have very fond memories with Steve.
What an unbelievable thing to be admired by so many people that you adore.
Well, that's been I don't have to tell you that's the most exciting thing. Jason Alexander.
Jason
To
Alexander,
hear from people that you admire.
Barbara Streisand,
Barbra
Carol Burnett,
Streisand.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, but Carol Burnett has become a friend, sincerely as a friend. Every time I put out a video, she's the first email I get. Crazy.
I mean, that's just a little bit of the gravy of all the hard work that you do.
It's nice. Well, it reminds you that you're on the right path somehow.
I'd like to quote from the book.
Please.
When real stars like Rita Hayworth, Liz Taylor, and Greta Garbo roamed the earth, those were the glamour girls I hoped to emulate in my earliest fantasies about one day becoming famous myself. I mean, you love the history.
I do.
And that's
then
part
it
of
goes
your
on to
DNA.
it's fun. I talk a lot. There's a lot of kvetching in this book. I'm just complaining about everything. That is talking sort of about the state of celebrity and social media, and that's when I complain about content creation. But I talk a lot about, I open the chapter talking about Get Ready With Me videos. Is anyone else addicted to Get Ready With Me? Do you know what those are?
This is not the crowd.
Yeah.
One girl.
Like you literally just watch someone
Them.
get ready. I don't know why, I need to see Anne Hathaway picking her zits. It's too much. We've gone too far. But then I go into sort of what it would be like if Joan Crawford did a Get Ready With Me video.
It's incredible.
And get the audiobook, because then I act it all out and there's music and stuff.
I'm in it too.
And, well, can we say that part?
Yeah.
If you notice that my cat Tippy, who has an extraordinary fan base of her own, is in that video, and there are 2 persona essays, I guess you'd call them, written from the perspective of characters, one being my cat, who Yelp reviews her experience living with me, and in the audiobook, played by the fabulous Pamela Adlon,
I play Tippy.
she plays Tippy to perfection.
Thank
And it's
you.
so sweet. It's sort of, it's just cute, and it's kind of reminded me of a Snoopy kind of monologue, like a Peanuts.
It was my honor.
It was very sweet. But the other, if I can just say, the other persona essay is called My Name is A, and it's written from the perspective of an embittered vowel who was dropped by a certain icon, and she's telling her story in my book. Barbra Streisand's dropped A. She's finally revealing her story. I don't know
It's
why. I
the
think
tell-all.
I was stoned when I came up with the concept, but
Right
I
drunk,
thought she
edit
needed to-
sober.
Huh?
Right drunk, edit
I
sober.
think I wrote and edited drunk for that one.
Another part of the book, you call singing karaoke in a Range Rover with James Corden celebrity jury duty.
Oh, yeah. I lost my Emmys 4 times to James Corden. I can say whatever I want about him.
What my social media agents fail to realize is that I am and this is crossed out, like there's a strike through, piece of shit.
Lazy piece of shit.
An artist, a lazy piece of shit. An artist. I cannot possibly meet the standards my valued audience has come to trust and expect until inspiration strikes me organically. You need to respond to more comments, they tell me. If you want to maintain an engaged audience, you have to interact with them. Engagement is 90% of the work. I mean, you guys, we've all talked about this so much. I'll be very honest with you. 90% of the reason I wanted to become famous in the first place was so that I wouldn't have to talk to anyone ever.
I'm glad that got a pause.
Now you're telling me that's the whole gig? When did they change the menu at this restaurant? And may I please speak with a manager? That's just a taste.
Thank you for the good reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm an introverted person, so I'm a high functioning, as I just learned from Oprah, who also said she's a high functioning introvert. But you really, and I have social media agents now, which was not a thing when I was dating Mel Gibson. Yeah. And they want you to, you have to engage and you have to interact with people. That is challenging for me.
Yeah, it's,
you find this too? I mean, you have these
So I have
agents?
somebody who, no, I don't. I have somebody who helps me when I make videos or put something on to promote. But if I have it on my phone, it's you get sucked down into the rabbit hole and you're like, oh, it's a toxic thing. When I do post on Instagram, it's for a fan base, like my community, and I wish that I could engage, but I can't do it.
Like what? What's
so like
you?
If I, like I went to, I did a whole thing about recycling, and then I went to a farm and I learned about like composting and all of this stuff. But I don't have time to write back and say, oh my God, but the page is a platform for all these different communities, and people were like, in Denmark, we're doing it this way. And I hope that that's enough without me having to go Denmark. Thank you.
Right.
I love you.
Right. No,
hey guys, it's me, Olivia.
Right.
Get ready with me.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's an enormous time suck.
Yeah, it's a lot, and you're encouraged to share every moment of your day. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that I'm cut out for that kind of thing. But I am trying. I am trying, and I think next year I'm gonna, try to do different segments, and I don't want to do like, hey guys, it's me, and get ready with me.
I think you need to.
Well, I mean.
I really want to see
in like
one.
a scripted kind of comedic way, I might do it, but I don't want to genuinely like have people watch me get ready for shit. Like, I don't want to watch people get ready. Like, I don't want to get ready myself. Like, why do I have to be burdened with your chores?
Yeah.
And yet, I can't
it.
stop watching them.
Yeah, it's just so you share a lot in this book.
Yeah.
And you talk about relationships and hookups and things like that.
There's a sex chapter in this book, be forewarned.
Yes.
And my mother read the book, but she heeded my warning because it opens with, Mom, don't read this chapter. She told me last night that she didn't, but I think she did.
But so that for you, as opposed to like these like soul-bearing get ready with me videos, which are actually not really, they can't be authentically like, I mean, you wake up in the morning, you have to get ready for your get ready video is what I'm thinking. Like, these people aren't like just, hey, I just woke up, it doesn't seem real, but you feel, you're open.
I am. Well, I find, here's the thing, when the books for me have been an opportunity to kind of get real. And this one, I think, is a little more dessert than my first book, which was a real chronological memoir of my life. Mm-hmm. So I get into my father issues and all of that shit. And so it's a little more serious. This is a little more humor essays, kind of David Sedaris kind of vibe. Yeah. But I do take a couple opportunities to get real. I think that's kind of one of them. The sex chapter is just kind of fun, and it opens with me taking you on a guided tour of my greatest hits. And I go through my phone and kind of list all of my hookups that I'm allegedly deleting. I didn't delete them, but I say that I am. And it kind of goes into the story about this. I had like an affair with this married man for a decade. Yeah, and kind of, well, it turned out, well, spoiler alert,
Is he married to a woman?
No, but he ended up being MAGA. I fucked a MAGA. So that's why I had to put that in the book.
I fucked a MAGA.
I thought that I really wanted to tell that story. I thought it would be a revelation for my audience. And I had to get it off my chest.
So you're just a girl with daddy problems. Don't you want to date us?
What is that from?
So that's like my daughters and I, we say that. We're just girls with daddy problems. Don't you want to date? So your dad.
Yeah, oh God.
You
My dad was Donald Trump. There's a chapter in the first book called Donald Trump is My Father. He was, just in every way. I mean, he sounded like him, his mannerisms. He was probably just a few years older than Donald Trump, but from New York, that New York guy energy. And so much so that my father, who was not at all an introspective person, he died during the 2016 election. And while it was going on, even he said, I can't watch him on TV because he reminds me so much of myself.
Wow.
So I've always felt like I've had real insight into Donald Trump, and that's been a part of my success, is that to some extent, I'm kind of just talking to my father. Because these are all conversations that the country and the world are having about this man in our house, this dark cloud. These are conversations that me and my mother and our family would have my whole childhood.
You're single?
Single?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I too am single.
And
so
you're not doing anything about it.
No, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because we feel okay.
Do we? Yes, we do. Absolutely.
But also, we're single, so if you guys know anybody.
Well, what are you getting at?
No,
What do you
I'm
mean?
saying my time alone is
Yeah.
so valuable.
Certainly.
For me, that's when I'm able to think, create, make lists and plan. And I just feel like I feel so good that way. My kids are all grown now, and my youngest is about to move out. And it just feels like a sigh of relief. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's something that I think people need, women like me in their 50s to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they get nervous. Mm-hmm. It's like Cousin Brenda at the wedding. Sit her over there with Cousin Brenda.
Yeah.
With the single ladies in their 50s. But I just feel like a big part of me being able to do what I do happens because I'm solamente.
Yeah. And that's very important to me. I cherish my alone time. And it's also, yes, creatively, it's imperative.
It's huge.
Yeah. But I'm getting to a place now where I feel like, I'm not in my 20s anymore.
Well, how do we get you?
30s,
how can we find somebody for Randy?
Is anyone here available? Because I don't have anything to do tomorrow. You got one? Great.
Wait.
Because we're going to go out after this. Maybe.
So cute.
I'm reaching a place where I feel like I think I'm ready to start letting that in.
We talked about that when we were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We were, you had just come off a tour.
Yes.
It was December 2019.
I remember it well.
The panda was nipping at our heels.
I feel like we were all 40 years younger. I look at pictures of that and I'm like, oh my God, those crazy kids.
It's unbelievable.
They didn't know what was coming.
I know.
Did you ask me everything you needed? Because I don't want to go back there and you say, shit, I forgot.
No, I'm good. No, I am inspired by you, and I just feel like, for the people here, to take something from this, which is that you never give up. You keep creating because you're doing it for yourself.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Sisters are.
Yeah.
And as are you. And I just want to say this legendary bitch has been there as one of the biggest support systems that I have had since I met you, and I'm so grateful for you.
I'm a huge
and
fan.
A huge fan of all of your creativity.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
But cast me in your next movie. Like, let's go.
Totally.
Hi, would
Hi.
you mind, that's a W, talking a little about your path, like what you did just before this, what your goals were, maybe, what did you think you were going to do? What did you want to do?
Well, when I started as a kid, I was on stage. I wanted to be Jason Alexander. No kidding. And I thought that I would come, but I moved to New York, and while most of my friends went on to, Josh Gad and I grew up together, and went to the Hollywood Playhouse in South Florida, and everyone kind of thought that's what I would do, and I starred in all of our high school musicals. But I was a very young 22-year-old, and I was scared of my own shadow, so I moved to New York and kind of just had to learn how to be a human. So I put all of the performance stuff on hold. My first job was working at Hooters on 56th and Broadway. Truly, I was the host at Hooters because I was staying with a girl who I knew from childhood. She was a Hooters girl, a waitress, and the guy who was the managing was a gay guy. He hired me. Imagine all of the construction workers who came in after work. So sad. But I worked various odd jobs, and I wound up as a receptionist in an accounting firm. Can you imagine? It was a Broadway accounting firm, so it was kind of like I kind of felt like I had one foot in the door. But that's where I started blogging, and I said maybe I'll do this creative writing, and that kind of got a little bit of an audience. And when it did, then the ham in me kind of kicked back in, and I said, let me try this YouTube thing out. And then I dated Mel Gibson, and that was the beginning of this gimmick of inserting myself into the headlines. And I just followed the bouncing ball ever since. And then in 2016, I don't have to tell you what happened. And that's how it kind of took the turn that it did. And I can't get out of it. I mean, I'd like to stop singing about Donald Trump. It's enough. I've run out of adjectives at this point. But I will, as long as I am called to duty.
Love you both.
Love you back.
Comment, then a question.
Go.
If you do not write a Broadway musical, the world and you will be underserved.
Thank you.
So please put on your list of to-dos.
It's there.
Okay,
And
good.
you'll be in it?
I'll be in it. You call, I'm there.
Okay.
Here's hopefully a good question. But given that you said you're primarily an introvert and that politics wasn't necessarily your big go-to thing, and you've built this huge following and created this huge voice for yourself, how does the MAGA world respond to you? And are you personally fearful if Trump wins that you're in his crosshairs somehow?
Well, now I am. My stock answer used to be, you'd be surprised how much hate mail I don't get. Because I don't really hear from any. It's really not MAGA people that I hear from. Now you do. Now I get hate from everybody. But I think that's just sort of the way of social media. So I see a lot more of it. I am more fearful. I'm fearful just to leave my house. Just it's getting scary out there. So to do my tours and everything. I don't know. Do you think that I'm on his radar? That's what everyone. Yeah, I just was with Don Lemon. He said, "Oh, he knows about you."
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Well, shit. Now I don't know. I guess I am concerned. Yes. Although not really. I mean, whatever. He should. If he tweets about me, I could use the publicity.
Absolutely. I mean, the amount of people that would run to you and go, "Who the fuck is Randy Rainbow?"
Yeah, that might be good.
Yeah, it might be good for biz.
I don't know.
When I think it was like a year and a half ago or whatever, Nick Kroll texted me and said, "Do you want to play my wife in History of the World Part 2?" And I texted back, voice or face parts? And he said face parts. And I was like, yeah, duh. And so one of my daughters, who's very paranoid and anxious, she knew that I was doing the Russian Revolution part where, my character kills Lenin. And she was like, Mom, you can't do that because Putin. I'm like, I don't think he's going to watch. I don't think he's concerning himself with that right now. But she was totally afraid.
Amazing.
She was afraid.
Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, you never know what the fuck these days.
But you can't, the whole thing is, I did a whole thing about the Dalai Lama in my show.
Yeah.
I'm the only person who talked smack about the Dalai Lama because I was mad. Because he was like, he did an interview and he tripled down on how, he was like, women shouldn't be, they should be attractive, wear makeup. Did you see that? So, I called him out, What am I, going to not do it because Richard Gere won't be my friend one day? It's a weird example, but...
When you hear, read, or see something that ticks something off in your mind creatively, how do you go about doing your thing? Do you start writing? Do you start looking for music first? How do you prepare when something sparks on for you?
Well, sometimes, with Trump, sometimes he'll just literally give you the title of a song. Sometimes it will already be, he's actually a fan of show tunes, which I find very conflicting. Did you know this? He loves show tunes. Did you know this? So yeah, he probably does know him. But nowadays, I mean, it's the lyrics first, and as far as, and that just pours out of me because we're all kind of thinking the same things, and I can refer to social media and see what everyone's kind of talking about to draw inspiration. And I also just have a running list nowadays of songs that I want to do. So a lot of the most recent songs are just things that I want to do. No one asked for JD, Married Lady from Funny Girl, but I wanted to do that, so I did it. And I think they showed the lawyer and the con man to the tune of The Farmer and the Cowman, the B-sideiest Rodgers and Hammerstein song ever. But I made that shit go viral. I'm very proud of that. But the point is, I try to do stuff that I will enjoy doing because another, secret to my success, if I have any, is that I'm having fun still. I think if this were all just about Trump parodies, it probably would have fizzled by now. What's keeping it fresh is that I keep it fresh for myself, and every time I do a video, it's a new opportunity to dress up and sing a song or, put on a production that I wouldn't.
Well, you top yourself every time.
Somebody has to.
That's why you're holding the title.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Good night. That really is perfect.
This is two very niche comments for the both of you. Pamela, I saw Sherry Vine the other night. She says hi.
Oh, thank you.
Sherry Vine?
Yes.
My girl.
Oh, my God.
I used to work in gay bars before. That was sort of a step before everything else. When I was dating Mel Gibson. Started working at Therapy in New York City, and Sherry Vine played there. Bianca Del Rio did Thursday nights. I did Sunday night.
Totally. Oh, my God.
And the second comment, if you do want to go out tonight, Mario Diaz has resurrected Hot Dog in Silver Lake.
Mario Diaz has resurrected Hot Dog in Silver Lake.
Is that good?
If
What's
you
that
want to
mean?
go tonight and
Is that
top
where I
yourself.
should go? Daddy.
We're going.
Okay, that's where I'll be. Hot dog? Sounds good to me.
Mario from Golden Girls with Sherry, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Paul, write down hot dog. Okay, thank you. That's my agent.
How did you decide what to put in your book? How did you decide what things were important enough?
What to put in the book?
What's important also?
There's nothing of importance in this book, I promise you. This was really, I wrote it while I was touring.
That's a good question.
Very good question. And a lot of stuff, I had a lot of ideas that didn't make it. But I decided to sort of make, I kind of made it like an homage to to kvetching and complaining. So it's kind of variations on a theme. Because I was writing it while I was on tour, and I hate touring. I don't like touring. I love I opened the chapter on travel with the Elaine Stritch adage, my favorite. It's like the prostitute once said, it's not the work, it's the stairs. And that's basically it. It's once I get on stage, it's fabulous, but it's getting there. So I just kind of, so a lot of just the things that really were kind of bubbling up that I wanted to complain about. That's what made this book. And then a few just creative ideas that I had. But it is tricky. I mean, have you written a book?
No.
It's hard.
How do you kill your darlings? Like, how do you decide? Do you do a board?
Yeah. I do a lot of outlines. And, and I work with an editor who's like, that's not so great. We don't need that, maybe. But I had a lot of freedom, a lot of creative freedom.
Hi, it's your future husband. Pamela sort of referred to this. It's the word multi-talented, is used too frequently, but in your case, it's 100% accurate. And I get the feeling your sense of humor was kind of there from day one. I get a feeling your singing voice has been there a really long time. Lyrically, anybody who loves musical theater or loves really good songs knows the importance of lyrics and also knows that it's not that easy to do. So I am so consistently impressed, among everything else, by those damn lyrics. Is that something you learned to do? Is that somebody whose work you emulated, like Sondheim? How does that come to you, and how are you so fucking prolific at these spectacular lyrics?
You are my husband.
He has potential. Yeah.
I love him.
Totally.
Thank you. Sondheim was major, and kind of taught me it has to be better. you have to up your game, and rhymes and all of that, and also taught me to you have to say something. It's not enough to just have a clever rhyme, but you have to deliver you have to impart some wisdom, or what you think is wisdom. So I try not to have, empty calories. But again, don't know what the fuck I'm doing, just kind of winging it. So I thank you for that compliment.
I love your podcast. Is there a guest that you're trying to get you haven't been able to?
Jason Alexander is a bitch to book. It's kind of on an indefinite hiatus because it's a long story, but I hope to come back with a new podcast next year. And I mean, there's a lot of people I would love to have. I had Carol Burnett on, that was exciting. Barbara, can you hear me? She's kind of she's my ultimate, if you haven't gathered that already. By the way, if you go on YouTube and you watch the parody I did, She's the Greatest Star, to I'm the Greatest Star, that's a Barbara Streisand commissioned piece. Because she saw my Evergreen parody, to my Marjorie Taylor Greene. I did Evergreen. And she liked it, and she had her team call me and ask if I would make a video to promote her new album at the time. And that was it. And she approved the lyrics, and it was like a whole thing. And then she sent me a care package and a
Which
note,
you did an unboxing video.
I did an unboxing content. And she wrote a little note, R, all my love and best wishes, B. And I haven't framed it yet. What? Ashanda, go ahead.
Will you keep writing books?
Yeah.
And tell us the meaning of low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit has many meanings. Again, it's sort of just things that were easy for me to, very at my reach, that I was just thinking of. Fruit is the obvious joke, self-deprecating. And then there is a chapter that I call my Nora Ephron chapter, entitled, I Feel Bad About My Balls. So that's a little more literal. So it has many meanings. And I talk about, being aging as a homosexual. And I would love to keep writing books as long as they keep asking me to.
I remember the genius synergy of Sweet Indictment dropping at Halloween time. That was both Rocky Horror themed, the perfect scansion of Sweet Indictment and Sweet Transvestite. And it happened almost instantaneously. And I know you were mentioning like songs that you've been sitting on, but it feels like your work is always so topical to that moment. I'm wondering like the fastest you've ever written and produced and posted a song and the farthest out you've ever been able to plan and write and post.
How seen do you feel right now by this bitch?
This bitch is my people.
I know.
She's
Totally.
giving specifics. I love it. Thank you. Like golden oldies. Sweet Indictment.
Yeah. I know the catalog. Listen. Yeah. Everyone's saying discovered you during the pandemic. I'm like, okay, so you weren't there for Sorry You're Not Hamilton at the Tonys. That's when I got on the train.
I started doing like theater news for Broadway World. That's how this all kind of started. But how far, the quickest I've turned one around, in the old days, I used to do them overnight sometimes. Braggadocious, one of my biggest videos. That kind of was the first launch. Still holds up too. Big, yeah, sing at every concert. By the way, I have to brag a little bit. I got an email from, talking about lyricists and these composers, son of Richard Sherman, of the Sherman Brothers. Richard is the one we just lost this year, right? They're doing a 60th anniversary of Mary Poppins for a Thanksgiving ABC special. And he sent me a letter that his father, Richard, was a huge fan of mine, and he wants to honor his father by including me in the special. Because of how because I have poured out that entire soundtrack. Yeah. I've used all of those as parodies, but that meant so much to me because that was hugely formative. That was overnight, Braggadocious, and that was sort of the first phase launch of all of this, because I woke up and it had like 16 million views. And then we kind of plan them a little bit more, because I ain't in my 30s anymore. And I like to sleep. I don't do all-nighters anymore. So we do, I give myself 2 weeks. I'm working on another one now that'll be coming out before the end of the month. Olivia Newton-John is all I'll say. Okay.
Hi there. I was wondering what kind of therapy you did to overcome your Donald Trump-esque dad, and if we should all start looking into it, just preemptively.
I sadly am embarrassed to say that I am not in therapy, and I'm way behind on my therapy.
But this is your therapy.
I have friends like Pamela Adlon. That helps a lot.
Oh.
But I have a lot of work to do to answer your question.
But don't you feel that what you do?
It is, as I was saying before, I am so happy that people respond to it and that it's been able to help people through tough times personally or on a, global news kind of scale, because it has been extremely cathartic for me in many ways. So yeah, it's certainly.
The reflection, sitting here and doing things like this makes you kind of look back and say, oh, I really need help with this. Or a different kind of thing. People used to say, I used to say that FX was paying for my therapy, like just doing better things, 5 seasons of better things was extremely therapeutic for me. But
we also need like real therapy.
You and I both need therapists and dick.
Yeah. And to that point, we'll see you tonight at Hot Dog.
See you at Hot Dog!